Hey friend, it has been a long time since I have popped in here on my channel, and I couldn't wait to just share with you what's been going on my crafting table. A lot. Just to let you know, I have 3 major events coming up in person for November, and October was incredibly busy. If I saw you at one of those events, thank you for coming over and saying hi, and thank you for telling me that you're following me on this channel. It means so much to me. You have no idea. Sometimes I feel like I'm just talking to myself when I go on these videos. So to have you reach out and actually tell me that you're watching truly means so much to me. And if you are new to this channel, thank you. Welcome. Thank you for finding me and welcome. I truly try to come in here and inspire you every week. The times that I do get onto this channel, I try to inspire you to not only document those stories that you've experienced in your life, but also those of other people that are important to you. Because at the end of the day, if we only have just these pictures on our phones or on our computers, they mean nothing unless there's a story behind it, right? And that's what gets lost, are the stories. And that's why I love to scrapbook, and that's why I love to come in here and share scrapbooking. But I don't just do scrapbooking. I also make some beautiful cards and teach people how to do cards as well. Which brings me to this fun little gingerbread man. He has stolen my heart. Okay, can I just tell you, I was not going to buy this. I was not going to buy this gingerbread set in the mini catalog. And then I started seeing some amazing artwork out there from other demonstrators. And I thought, okay, I'm going to get him. I'm going to see what he's like. And oh my goodness, can you see how substantial? Like, look at him compared to my hand. He is so substantial and he looks so precious on a card. Not just a card, but I'm going to drop you down onto my desk in just a minute, and I'm going to show you how to scrapbook with this adorable gingerbread man and how easy it is to emboss, heat emboss it, and then how to layer it and create some really beautiful visual triangles on your scrapbook layout. So without further ado, let me drop you down onto my desk and let's get crafting. Here are the pictures of Paige when she was in her 5-year-old preschool class. Oh my gosh, she was just so precious. And I don't understand why I haven't scrapbooked these pictures yet, but I was so glad to fall upon them and realize that they hadn't been scrapbooked yet. And so when I saw this sweet gingerbread man from the mini catalog, I knew that I was going to use this and even this color combination to scrapbook these pictures from her. And I started looking through the designer series papers that I had and happened to fall across a leftover scrap, which is right here. It's the confetti paper from this Turtley Cute workshop. I had 1 full sheet left of it, and I thought, you know what? This is going to be perfect for her Christmas party and the sprinkles that were on her cookie. And it truly fell into place so beautifully. And then I also had a scrap piece of paper from the Celebrate Together, and it's this stripe that's all the way over here in the very back, but you can see it. Let me just get the catalog closer. Right here, it's this. There was an extra piece of that, and I was like, that's perfect because that's pool party. And then the combination of the sprinkles that are on here were like meant to be with these pictures. So that's kind of where my thought process came from. And then I also threw in some of the brights. I used the Poppy Parade piece for my gingerbread man, and I basically copied this idea right here from the catalog on page 54. And then I mixed in the reindeer memories that I had from last year. I used the when, where, and what, and then I also used festive memories for my title. And then this is the hero of this entire project. Oh my goodness, you guys. So I took the dies and I put them onto the magnet sheets. And I'm even going to house my gingerbread man on here, even though he doesn't fit into the envelope. So I'll put these dies in the envelope when I'm done, and they fit in here just perfectly. And then this little guy is going to sit just right in there so that everything is housed in this case. And there's tons of pieces to it, and I literally had a blast. So I want to show you. I'm using some flip flaps. This is where I did my subtitle using this stamp right here, stamped it in the pecan pie ink. And then look at all of the yummy treats that I built with all of my different colors of cardstock, which I'll note on the guide when you receive it so you know exactly what colors I use. But like Crushed Curry, Flirty Flamingo, I did Pretty in Pink, and Pool Party, Lost Lagoon, and then of course Poppy Parade, and then Pecan Pie. And just some tips on stamping with Versamark. You really need to season your stamp before you stamp it in Versamark. Otherwise, it's not going to get stamped and pick up a lot of that sticky ink. And so the best advice that I can give you for seasoning your stamps is when you pull them off the carrier sheet like this, and then you grab a big block like this. I just kind of lay it in the center, and then just rub your stamp across your hand just to remove any residue that might be left during the manufacturing. I used to do this all the time at Close to My Heart, and I feel that even with the photopolymers at Stampin' Up, they need that. They need that little seasoning. So it's okay to just rub it against your hand, and you're going to actually see that it kind of clouds it up, and that's perfectly fine. So that's just another tip that I've learned when coming over from Close to My Heart, is that photopolymers still need to be seasoned. You can even ink them up and then just stamp off until that ink disappears. But it's really important, especially if you're going to use a sticky product like Versamark to heat emboss, that it really needs to be seasoned before you stamp. So I just took a paper plate and I cut out a ton of these images and started building them, started gluing them together. I love the little rickrack for the top of the gingerbread person. And I love the little scarf that I cut out of him as well. And then you'll notice that this is a two-piece, meant to be a card. And so I did stamp it in Versamark, and then I heat embossed it, and I did trim this out. And don't worry about this piece because it's actually going to get covered up by one of the sweet treats as I build it. So you can put a candy cane in his hand to cover that up. You can do a lollipop. I probably am going to do a couple of lollipops and just kind of have them cross over like this. It's going to be so fun to build him, and I can't wait. So I'm going to just set those off to the side. I gave you guys my tips and tricks for embossing. Again, the key to this little guy is that you're going to cut him. I cut him out first, and then I took the stamped image. Off of the carrier sheet. And just be careful because there's no inside to him. So you want to be really careful. And the best way to stamp this is to put him upside down and just let him kind of fall onto your mat like that. And then I just took my large block and picked him up. And make sure that he's sitting on the block all the way. So you may have to do this a couple of times. But the best thing to do is to just let him fall and then line him up like so, and then pick him up. And it was really easy. Let me just run this through my die cut machine really quick and I'll show you what I mean. Cut him out, have my stamp ready. I'm just gonna kind of season him off as well because I really want to get a clear image on him. My first one didn't turn out as well as my second one, but make sure that you use some cornstarch to get any static off of your cardstock before you use a product like Versamark, not Versamat. And yeah, I probably should have a dust pad underneath me, but I'm just going to roll with it. So wipe that off. Here's my Versamark. I like to turn it upside down and ink it like this all the way. Just really try and make sure that you cover that image as best as you can. And then we're going to line him up because we can see right through it. And get that lined up just like so. And then just press down on all the areas and just make sure that before you lift it up that you've really pressed hard. And look at how great that turned out. Like, that is really great coverage on there. Just a little bit missing there, but I think I'm going to be okay when I go to put the powder on. And let's just see how this looks. I've got some of my old Close to My Heart super fine white powder. Oh yeah, he turned out great. So just kind of go back and forth. I like to go run him through a couple of times with the embossing powder just to make sure that it pulls it on all sides, right? So just kind of scoop them. I know a lot of people use plastic spoons. Do whatever you need to. I'm doing this pretty quickly just so that I can show you how great that turned out. And then just keep adding powder. If you need to, tap it off, use a little brush, whatever you need to. That's perfect, just like that. And now I am going to run that through my heat embossing tool, my heat tool. I'll heat it, and then I'll come over and do this one again. And now that I think about it, now that he's done, I actually did it correct if I wanted to turn him into a card. So I think I'm going to do that. I'm just going to leave him just like this. And now I have another use for him, and I can turn him into a card, which I absolutely want to do because they're so stinking cute. So that's kind of the embossing 101 from my perspective. If you've got any other tips, I would love to know them. And just post them in the comments below so that we can all learn from each other. Before we continue, I have a huge favor to ask you. If you are new to this channel, would you please just go down and subscribe to my channel? I am 50 people away from 3,000 followers. I know that doesn't sound like much, but that is huge to me, considering almost a year ago, I only had 600 people following me. So if you're new, please smash that subscribe button, click like, leave a comment for me, and let's get back to crafting. We're going to go ahead and get started with the left side of the page. And I want to show you the inspiration that I pulled from the mini catalog for this sketch design. It's right here on page 14. I love that Stampin' Up! Is now incorporating sketches for scrapbooking for us, not just beautiful cards and tags. So this is the sketch that I wanted to use, and I started looking and I remembered that I saw an actual finished idea here in the catalog, and it is featured from the Traditions, the Keeping Traditions scrapbooking workshop. And Dana's going to be doing this next month for our Palooza. And I was like, oh my gosh, I am so going to use this. And then I saw the companion page next to it, and I want to show you my version of that companion page. So this is the sketch that we're going to do for the left side of the page. And these were the original 4x3 photos. And I was like, they are still too big, and I need them to fit into a 3x3 flip flap, and I need them to fit into my photo mats, which are 3x3, and these are 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So I was like, okay, I went back to my Becky Higgins sketch app, and I will make sure that I drop that information down in the comments section for you, for those of you that don't print from home. I love my Epson PM 400 Picture Mate, and I love my Epson photo paper, and I print from home using that Becky Higgins app because I can take any 4x6 photo and turn it into different sizes just based on the wells, that the configurations in the wells that are available in her app. Absolutely love it, and it's free to use, and it really allows me to get these smaller pictures so that I can scrapbook and get more pictures onto my page. So we're going to start with the Pretty in Pink. This is the two-tone cardstock, and we are using the dark side, or the natural side. And then we're going to take some Pool Party, again on the natural side, not the light side, and then some White Willow. And I'm going to go ahead and just get some Seal Plus here. And I am going to line this up the best that I can, because once this goes down, it is not coming back up. So there we go. And then we're going to go ahead and mount this right in the center. And my interpretation of that sketch is just slightly different. And you know what? That's what makes this so fun, is that everybody's interpretation is just a little bit different, but you still get a really great finished layout when you're done. So I'm just trying to line this up like around the 1 inch, the 11 inch. I think it's more like 3/4 of an inch. And 3/4 of an inch and 3/4 of an inch. I think that's pretty good. Okay, so then, and don't worry, on my sketch you'll have all the measurements, and that'll go out in, I'm hoping, my Friday email. It is such a busy time of the year right now for me because I am in full scrapbook crop mode, and I'm doing scrapbooking crops every single weekend through the rest of November. And so I've been really busy, and I'm so sorry that I haven't been able to pop in here on YouTube and scrapbook with you guys and show you new projects that I'm working on. They're coming, I promise. I just have been stretched a little thin. So I am just attaching these squares onto the Pool Party cardstock, and some of them are going to be photo mats, and some of them are just going to be decorative elements. And so this is the dark side of Pool Party, and then I'm using the light side of Pool Party for the photo mats. It just is kind of fun. I love the two-tone cardstock. I hope you guys are enjoying it as well. Something that I absolutely loved at close to my heart, and I'm so thankful that Stampin' Up! Has two-tone cardstock for us. It really is a game changer when you're layering your papers. It really does help to just add more dimension and texture without adding bulk to your project. It's amazing what a little bit of color can do, right? And I'm actually going to swap these over. These are going to kind of go like this, and then these are going to go over here like that. And then we're going to finish with these. So I'm just getting these lined up. And then I will get my pictures on here. Oh, I already stuck that one down. That's good. Okay, and then I want these to be kind of centered. So let me get this lined up in here. And then I'm just looking where my center is, right here at 6 inches. So I kind of want those both on each side, just like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tack these down, get these into place. Just giving a little bit of a border around each of them. And then I will show you the decorative elements that I added on here, including that adorable gingerbread man. I think I could just sit here for hours and just build all of those fun little elements. I'm going to give a little bit more space between these two. That's why I'm using just the regular seal. I'm not using plus now, because I do make some mistakes, and I want to be able to lift these up and move them if I need to. But then eventually they do kind of, the adhesive does kind of cure and kind of set into the page. So that is perfect. Okay, so my flip flap is going to go here, and I've already done my journaling for page right there. And then I had this picture of her and Mrs. Scott together. She was so sweet. She was Paige's aide in class. And then her and her friends, oh my gosh, they had so much fun together. Jack is the little boy next to Paige, and he's grown up in our neighborhood her entire life. He and his family still live here. And then I'm going to put this one right here. Okay, and then that's my flip flap. And then over here, we're going to do my little subtitle. And then I'm going to bring in all of these fun little pieces. And I'm going to just kind of show you where I started placing them. And I put this little guy here. Oh my gosh, he is so cute. Now, I just want to remind you that this bow is 3 pieces, but it's 1 die. And you basically get to build the bow. It's so fun. So we're going to put that little guy there. I think I had a lollipop coming over here, coming out. And then I took all of these really fun little jelly beans and just cut a bazillion of them. And I'm going to grab my take your pick tool that I know I set over here for myself, because I love that putty side and how you can just pick up pieces that you need. And I'm going to just kind of see how I want to stagger these over here. And I also want to get in here some of the Lost Lagoon, and I think I want to come over here and do either Pool Party, or I think I might do another crushed curry right there. Oh, and I wanted one of these little guys with the peppermints that you can put them in any color combination you want. And I think I want one of the peppermints like that. So that's going to be that cluster over there. And then here is my adorable little gingerbread man, and I think I want him there because I don't want to cover up her friend too much. And then I'm going to take a peppermint. Let's see, what else do I have? I have so many of these, you guys. And I know I want to bring in some of the red. So I've got this little guy here. I think I might do him down here. I don't want to cover her up too much. And let me see, I know I had more of these put together. I might have to put some of these together and bring them in, because I don't see the ones that I was, oh, here it is. He fell off of my thing. Here we go. So these are fun. You can do them with the circle, or you can just do them with the cute little swirl. There is no right or wrong way when you're building peppermints, right? So we could even do these 2 little guys like that. And then there's lots of candy canes. And I knew I wanted to bring in some more of the crushed curry over here. And we want to make it look like he's holding onto that to kind of cover up that little embossing piece. I may have to move him up higher so I don't cover her face too much, but she might get covered up, and that'll be okay too. And then I had more of these fabulous little jelly beans. So I'm going to just kind of pull a couple of them. I know I wanted to do colors that would stand out over here on this side. So I think I want some red in there too. I did have this better organized. So I'm going to do those there, and then I want to bring in over here like another jelly bean, and I think I'm going to do a color like that. Okay, and then I have this really fun little bubble that I want to stamp on there, Oh Snap, because over here she's eating the cookie, and I thought that would be so fun to have that saying there. So I'm going to grab my stamped image. I'm going to grab Oh Snap, and we're going to stamp him in the pecan pie ink. Here is my ink. Let me just grab this little guy. Maybe push this out of the way so I can get a nice clean image. And I could break off his leg. I'm going to show you how to do that, you guys. It is so fun. Okay, so we got our Oh Snap over here, and then I'm going to take this image that's right here, and this is how you break off that little chunk of his leg. So let me run that through my machine, and I'll be right back. Look at how that perfectly cuts him like you took a bite out of him. That is just so precious. So we're going to add that there as well. So let me just get this back to center, and we're going to go ahead and start assembling this. And I will speed it up a little bit so you don't have to watch me do this for 20 minutes. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my Take Your Pick tool. I'm using the putty side, and I'm just turning all of these decorative elements upside down so that I can add dimensionals and foam tape to them. Love the Take Your Pick tool. If you guys do not have this, seriously, it is like the best tool in my stash. I use it every day, every time I'm crafting. It just allows you to pick up things so much easier and not have them stick to your hand, especially when they have adhesive on them. So I'm just creating my clusters right now with dimensionals and those fabulous candies that I cut and created with my dies and all the different colored cardstock. And then I'm taking that little subtitle and tucking it in as well. And then I'm using the green glue to attach all of the little jelly beans that I made. I love those jelly beans. Oh my goodness, you can cut as many colors as you want. And I love the different sizes so that you can create those little visual triangles with them. So I'm just looking where I want to place them, using the Take Your Pick tool to pick them up, and then just stagger them accordingly. And I'm using a combination of large and smaller jelly beans, and it just really creates that really beautiful decorative element onto the page. So now I'm looking to where I want to place my gingerbread man and attaching a ton of dimensionals on there to pop him up and lift him up a little bit. And then I'm going to use the back side of the Take Your Pick tool with that little piercing tool, and I just push and lift to get those dimensional backings off. Oh my gosh, it makes it so much easier. And now I'm looking to see where I want to place him, and you know, I do end up covering up her little friend, but that's okay because she's in the picture above as well, so I'm okay with that. And then I'm using that little piece that I cut off with the die for his little foot and attaching that with a dimensional. And now I'm trying to see where I want to place all of these little candies and lollipops. And I decide that I want to go ahead and just use one of the little candies on his hand. And I use one that's the white and the pool party combination. That's what's so fun about cutting all of these out. You have so many different creative options with them. And just I'm lifting and tucking and finding the right placement for them. And those dimensionals, they stick down really well, but luckily I was able to pick those up and tuck them in where I wanted them. And getting the backings off of those little candies and then putting some dimensionals on the back of my Oh Snap. That was a really fun little add-on that I did at the last minute. My original design did not have that in there, but I thought it was just really perfect, especially with her eating a cookie. Even though it's not a gingerbread cookie, it's all good. Now I'm just taking the rest of the decorative elements and just adding some just regular not dimensionals, but seal. Thank you. It's slipped my mind for a second. And then I'm just staggering those little jelly beans and the different color combinations. Now we are ready to move on to the right page. We are going to start with the dark side of the Pretty in Pink, and then I have this leftover piece from the workshop after I cut those squares that I used on the left page. And I'm going to go ahead and get some Seal Plus on there, and I'm going to just get this lined up onto my Versamat the way I want it. And then, oops, of course it shifted just a smidge. And then this is not, it's 9 1/4 inches. So we kind of want to put it between the 1 1/2. It's actually between the 1 1/2, actually the 1 1/4 and the 1 1/2 inch mark, which would be 5/8. No, 3/8, right? I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm not very good at math right now, and my brain is just trying to get this laid down. So 3/8 inches. So it's 1 3/8 inches on both sides to get those lined up. And then just smooth that out really well. And then these are those stripes that I was telling you about, which were my leftover pieces from the celebratory Sips, Celebrate Together. Can't remember the name exactly, but it's one of the designer series papers that's exclusive in that workshop kit. And the same for this sprinkles sheet. They are both exclusive sheets in the workshop. So unless you get the workshop, you are not going to see these designer series papers because they are not part of the regular paper, designer series paper. And then these are just 1/2 inch wide, and I'm just butting them right up against the edge. I just felt like it needed some grounding. And I've always learned some really great tips from my dear friend, Tina Lovell, about grounding and having things connected so that they feel like they're a part of it. They're not on an island, right? They are rooted and grounded on your page. So I loved just adding that little bit of pool party stripe, just really kind of, again, it draws your eye in. And so here's the original idea. And I was like, well, my pictures are not in the horizontal orientation, they're actual vertical pictures. So I had to turn things, and I loved just how the balance of having everything centered was on this layout, but I changed it up a little bit, right? Like my designer series paper goes all the way up to the top. I don't have this strip over here. I decided to take those pieces and put them on the right and left side. So I love how you can take a pattern from something else and truly make it your own. So we are now using, let's make sure we're using the light side for the photo mats. Originally, I was going to do the dark side, but I like the contrast on here. So now I'm going to go ahead and get my photos on here. And they have a larger mat than what I typically do, but it's because I just really wanted these pictures to stand out. And I hope I trimmed that down. Yes, I did. Okay. Got that one there. And then here's Paigey with Miss Lee, who was her teacher. Anna had her as well. So it's so fun that my girls got to have the same teachers. My boys got to have the same teachers when they were growing up, because up until they went into kindergarten, they were in the same class. And Dakota High School had a preschool program that was part of their high school curriculum. So somebody wanting to go into education got to go and work at the preschool at Dakota. And my boys happened to be a part of that program for 2 years, and it was absolutely amazing. Okay, so we are going to, whoops, not turn her upside down, but we are going to put them right in here like so. just like this. And then we're going to build our other little snowman together. I thought, our snowman, gingerbread man, I thought it would be so fun to show you. So see how I had to cut his little hand off? Well, guess what? He's going to get tucked behind her picture, so you're not even going to see that. So let's build him together. I love the little bric-a-brac. That was so fun. And I love the green glue for that attachment. So I'm getting down to the end of this tube, which happens to be like one of my original tubes from Stampin' Up. So there, that green glue, I'm telling you, it goes a long way. So another tip on building your gingerbread man, which I did not show you in my video. I embossed the outside first, and then I picked the face, and there's 3 different faces to choose from. So let me show you on the stamp set. Here's a little face, there's a face, there's a face, and then there's just some eyes. So there's a lot of fun expressions that you can do. And I think I didn't do the like, oh snap one, but it's all great and like nobody's gonna care. But there's just so, I love this set, you guys. Oh my goodness, love it, love it, love it. Okay, so we are gonna now attach his hat. We're just gluing it on. And I had one going in one direction, and we're gonna have this one go in the opposite direction. So he is gonna sit on here like so, just like that. Oh my goodness, he's so cute. And then of course this adorable scarf. And that's gonna go just like that. And I just had the glue go there so I could tuck him in behind her picture. So let's get some Seal Plus on there. Whoops, that shifted a little bit, but that's all right. It should dry pretty well. And let's hope that I did not tack that all the way down. So I want my little snow, I don't know why I keep saying snow, my gingerbread man. I want him to come, whoops, not that far. Let's have him kind of come out like that, because I want to have some decorative elements in there as well. And then I want these to overlap. So I'm going to have this kind of go in under there like that. And he needs to come out just a smidge more. I hope that you can see this. Let's bring this down a little bit closer to the camera. Okay, let's get him lined up the way I had him. The nice thing about these adhesives is until you want it to stick, like you've got a little bit of wiggle room. So let's get that down. Let's get her down. I think that's good. And then this little guy is going to come in just like that. Didn't even do a photo mat on this one. Just got, I just wanted it to be a nice little kind of added little bonus there. And then Festive Moments is going to come over here. And then I've got some decorative elements that are going to go in around that. So let's get some dimensionals on here. I went ahead and sped this up a little bit for you so that we're not here all afternoon, but I'm just taking those dimensionals and removing them from the back of that title. A couple of them had a hard time coming off, and I'm just going to tack that down and again have it grounded by the photos and have them touch the photos. And then I'm just removing some of the dimensionals that I already preset on the candies, and I'm just placing them in little groups of 3. Again, I love those little jelly beans, and you can create any color combination that you want, truly. And I'm trying to find some of the other colors so that I've got some depth when I'm creating those little clusters. That's why I reached over to my little plate where I had some of the other candies there. And then I'm just attaching 2 of them down there in the corner. I apologize that you can't see it right there. They kind of got tucked in. And then I'm going to go ahead and tuck in the lollipops and the candies over by my little gingerbread man. Sadly, that little smudge of glue did not come off, so I'm going to wait until it dries a little bit better and then use my rub and remove eraser for it. And then I'm just finding the jelly beans that I want. I need another crushed curry, so I'm grabbing one from a plate, getting a little bit of glue on the back of it, and then tacking that down right there. And then I think I decide to go ahead with blue, a lighter blue one for that top one, and then putting a couple there. And then I think that will do it. Maybe let's add like another little candy down here. Let's maybe grab a little bit of the pink one, and we're going to put a pink one right there too. Have it kind of coming out like that. Maybe let's lift this up just a smidge, just like that, and then those three are together. Oh my gosh, so adorable, so cute. Absolutely love those clusters. Hopefully he dries. If not, I'll be doing something there to prevent that from sticking. I might even have to get my rub and remove eraser out. But here is the other page, and I've got some adhesive on some of these other pieces, so I'm going to just get them out of the way. Hopefully they won't stick to me. Maybe they will. But let me bring this in together so that you can see both pages side by side. Oh my goodness. It really was a fun project to share with you, and I hope that this inspires you to get that little gingerbread set and create some really beautiful scrapbooking pages and even cards. Thanks so much for joining me, everyone.